Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Anxiety Offline, back again today for a quick video. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm pretty stoked. The weather in my part of the country is starting to turn around, starting to get a lot warmer out. So I'm able to be outside more and just do more fun stuff. Haven't been cooped up 24/7, so that's been pretty cool. And so today I want to talk about a deck that is really, really cool, very unique. Out of everything in my collection, this one we're going to talk about today is definitely, by far, the craziest, most unique, coolest one I have, and we're gonna talk about it. I'm actually not even sure if it's out yet. I know when I got it, it was like an unreleased hand-shaped one, and it's hand-shaped by one of the, what I consider one of the best deck makers in the whole fingerboard industry. So it's just a really, really awesome deck. It functions like crazy. As cool as it looks, it works just as well. So today let's talk about 26mm balcony that I got here. Hopefully the lighting's good and you can see it. I don't know, the intro sounds pretty good, so we're gonna use it anyway. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right. All right, so this is gonna be kind of just a quicker, more impromptu video. I wanna just talk about this deck, tell you how it functions, what I think about it, and all that good stuff. And real quick, I just wanted to break and let y'all know the exact recipe of this deck, which is a 26mm microwave shape on the lounge concave. So that is the shape and concave of this one. So back to the video. So I got this one when I did the designs for Balcony for their hoodie and all that, and they came out really, really cool, and he sent me one. And if you remember in that video, he also sent me this deck, and I remember getting it out and I was like, oh sweet, this is really cool. But I didn't have any 26mm truck, so it took me a little while to get it set up and to get it going and all that. But I'm so glad I did. This thing is crazy. It functions really, really well. I've been wanting a cruiser deck for a long time. Don't know why I never got one. Never had my eye on like a skinny cruiser. Like, this is a 26. It almost feels like a popsicle stick. When I thought about getting a cruiser, I thought about getting like a 35 or something like that. But anyway, this thing is sweet. It is a cruiser. It's got the rounded nose and the square tail, but it's also got kicks to it. So a lot of cruisers have a kick, like a kick in the back and then no kick in the front. This has a nose and a tail with some kicks. And now that I'm looking at it, the nose is actually a little bit steeper than the tail, and it's definitely longer as well. And I like on a lot of balcony decks how their noses are bigger than the tails. It's kind of, for me, reminiscent of like an older Berlin wood. I know their like a Berlin wood deck, for instance, has a much larger nose than it does tail. So I kind of like that in the fingerboard. I feel like you have more control, like when you go to flick and just things like that, or even when you go to catch, really. But I feel like the more of a nose you have, just the more, for me at least, more possibilities I have, or more flexibility I have when I go to do my tricks. And the really unique thing about this deck, I think the most unique thing about this deck, is that the nose has a nice amount of kick to it. So even though it's an old school cruiser shape, because it's got those nice kicks, nice medium kicks, you can still do so much on it, and it just comes to you pretty easy, I think. More easy than it would if it was just a regular classic cruiser with really, no nose. It seems to flip just so effortlessly, and you can catch it just as easy. So one awkward thing about this deck, I will say, is when you go to ride it, when you first go to ride it, or even now when I use it, even though I've been using it pretty much daily, it does feel very long, and I think that's just because of the 26mm width. It feels very popsicle sticky in a way. Not saying it feels bad, you can get used to that. After a couple ollies, a couple kick flips, whatever, start to kind of get used to it. But it does feel very, very long compared to my other fingerboards, even though it's not. So it's the same size as this 33 here, height-wise, but it feels longer, I think, because it's just skinny deck. Now, there is one advantage to that, I will say, and that is the wheelbase. The wheelbase in this thing is crazy long. I was even looking at it earlier, and this deck, which is my favorite deck, has been for the past couple of weeks. I can do so much on this thing, just first try, just feels so good. And I was looking at it, and the wheelbase is actually, I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell on camera, but the wheelbase is slightly longer on the old school deck here. And what that means, at least for me and my style, I prefer a longer wheelbase. I feel like I can pop the deck just way higher, and I have much more controllability over my flips. If I have a short wheelbase, a deck is very, very hard for me to use. It does not matter how much concave or kick it has. If If it has a short wheelbase, I'm gonna be a little bit SOL on that one. Even though this deck feels long, even though it's not, the wheelbase is nice and long, which really adds to the functionality of this deck. So in my opinion, it really is kind of a perfect storm when it comes to wheelbase, kick height, and concave. Now I will say there's not much concave on this deck, but I don't think it really matters, just because the wheelbase is so long and those kicks are just like so perfect for, you know, in my opinion, for my preference at least. This deck is just super functional. I love it so much. A big shout out to Dan for sending this one over to me. I really appreciate it. It's such a high quality fingerboard. Every deck I've got from BLCNY is just so, just for lack of a better word, just quality. They all feel like they're made, you know, obviously by one person, by hand, but they feel like there's something that you would get like just from a factory. And what I mean is they're all so perfect. They all just feel like just so consistent feeling. I don't like when you try two fingerboards and they feel, you know, they feel different. The consistency is just crazy among these decks. They all feel, you can tell a BLCNY when you pick it up, and I think that definitely says a lot. Now, I will say if I had to pick only one fingerboard to use, I'm not sure if I'd pick this one just based on the shape. I'm kind of a classic popsicle, medium kick, medium concave kind of guy, so I think if I had to pick just one, I probably would go for something more classic like this. But this thing is just so fun to mess around with. And it's kind of funny because right now my favorite two to use are this 35mm chems and this 26mm BLCNY. So it's funny, the 10mm difference, well, the 9mm difference, but almost a 10mm difference between the two. It's just kind of funny. But either way, it's a really fun setup. I've been taking it even outdoors and using it in really weird spots just because it's great. It's kind of like a little finger surfboard. But it's super fun. So when you can, definitely get your hands on one. I definitely recommend them. BLCNY's doing some awesome stuff, so definitely check them out. Whether you want a popsicle or a cruiser, or even the boxy decks are awesome. They have a lot of really fun shapes and, you know, concaves and all that stuff. So real quick, here is a couple clips with this deck. Hope you enjoy. Alright y'all, that brings us to the end of yet another video. Thank you so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. If you watched the whole thing, drop the word microwave in the comments below. Beyond that, leave a like and a comment. I don't care what you comment, just leave one. It helps out the channel a lot and gets this video out there to more fingerboarders. Don't forget, I have my own website, anxietyoffline.com, where I sell a whole array of fingerboard obstacles and supplies. I got grip tape packs stocking soon, so definitely gonna look out for those, and a bunch of other cool stuff as well. I release new fingerboard content every single week. If you got more videos just like this, hit the button down below, and I'll see you in the video next week. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.